Welcome back, everyone, to Seahawk Central News, your source for the latest in local news and entertainment. I'm Trevor Bray.
And I'm Anna Phillips. Don't forget you can check out tealtv.org to keep up with us throughout the school year. Seahawk Central News airs every Monday through Thursday.
This week, we'll get an up-close glimpse of the Dolly Quartet, the Salty Paws Dog Festival, and a special interview with Edwin McCain.
Don't forget to head over to the sports desk with Trey Owings and the rest of the sports team on the half hour.
Stay tuned because Seahawk Central News starts right now.
The Haitian dance company of Jean-René Delsoin will perform Friday, November 2nd in Keenan Auditorium. Inspired by Haitian culture, voodoo tradition, the rhythmic performance is said to reflect Haiti as it was, as it is, and as it will be. This is the finale event to UNCW's Global Focus series for the semester. It is also part of the U.S. State Department's Center Stage initiative. Tickets are $20 for the general public and $8 for students.
Dr. J. Richard Corbett is receiving the 2012 Albert Schweitzer Honor Scholarship Award from UNCW. The award is given annually to honor Albert Schweitzer, a German theologian, organist, philosopher, physician, and medical missionary. Members of the Honor College and staff of Randall Library choose the recipient of the honor based on his or her contributions to music, medicine, or humanitarian efforts. Corbett has made both humanitarian and medical impacts in the Cape Fear region. Corbett is a practicing physician and radiologist and has previously served at Camp Lejeune. The doctor also plays an active role in many children's organizations, such as the Boys and Girls Home, the Burlington Boys Choir, and the Children's Home Society of North Carolina. Corbett will be honored Thursday, November 1st in the Warwick Center Ballroom on campus at 12:30 p.m. What's on your bucket list? Courtney Brodell wants to know on this week's Talk on the Walk.
Hi, I'm Courtney Brodell here with Seahawk Central News, asking students on Chancellor's what is on their bucket list.
Okay, for my bucket list, I'd like to meet Britney Spears.
One thing on my bucket list is getting a tattoo.
One thing on my bucket list is to take a trip to Italy.
The thing that I would like to do the most is to be invited to the National Academy of Sciences and to do a presentation there. That's my one bucket list item.
I just really would like to see the Aurora Borealis lights before I go.
I'd want to live in a foreign country.
From traveling the world to meeting celebrities, UNCW students have a lot of interesting things on their bucket list. This is Courtney Brodell. Back to you.
According to a new film, American female soldiers are more likely to be raped by a fellow soldier than killed in action. The Invisible War, which showed in Lumina Theater on October 23rd, is a documentary that received the Sundance Film Festival Audience Award for 2012, profiling sexual assault within the U.S. military. The purpose of the film was to raise awareness of the issue and of the services available to those affected or concerned by it. Rape Crisis Center of Coastal Horizons was present for the showing, as well as representatives from UNCW's CARE, Crossroads, and LGBTQIA programs.
The ballpark hasn't even been built yet, but both sides charged the mount in Thursday night's heated debate. WHQR hosted a discussion that examined the pros and cons of building a minor league baseball stadium in the port city. We've all seen the Vote No Stadium tax signs posted all over town. They're attributed to Scott Harry and Jim Rafferty. The two men believe the payout for the stadium will not be worth the 2.5-cent increase for homeowners per $100 of property value. On the contrary, Councilman Kevin O'Grady and Mayor Sappho argue that other North Carolina cities, such as Durham and Fayetteville, have profited from ballparks. O'Grady says the deal will put taxpayer debt at $44 million over a 20-year period, while Harry claims the real amount is $75 million. The fate of Wilmington Mandalay baseball team lies in the hands of voters come Election Day.
The rhythmic sounds of Venezuela, blended with American conservatory tradition, echoed on stage on October 25th. The Dolly Quartet, based on the Spanish composer Salvador Dali, hosted a concert in Keenan Auditorium that combined classical technique with Latin American music. Katie Nimrich was on the scene to find out more for us.
Thanks, Anna. The Dolly Quartet is here performing at Keenan Auditorium. The string quartet is known for their combination of Latin and classical music. I'm here to talk to the group and get the details.
We come from Philadelphia and Baltimore, and we are originally from Venezuela and Puerto Rico. And we have here a violinist, Simon Goyo, and violinist Carlos Rubio, cellist Jesus Morales, and percussionist, guest performer Orlando Cotto, and myself, Adriana Linares. We all come, as I mentioned, from Latin America, and we love to mix repertoire combined with classical music and Latin American. So what you're gonna hear today is a mixture of, or a sample rather, of our performances, which is half classical music and incorporating Latin American elements. So we bring percussionists in our performances and a bass player to add another dimension to the texture that you hear from a regular string quartet. At the time when we started the group, Dali, the names of the letters of the name, Dali happened to be the first letters of each member of the group at the time. So that adds a practical sort of reasoning, but most of it philosophically, artistically, and personally. Those three reasons are why we chose the Lee Quartet. So, of course, we are passionate about music and we're passionate about education. We actually have our own academy and our own summer camps and festivals, and we encourage students of any age to be involved in some kind of art, where there is taking lessons, participating in concerts, attending poetry or any kind of literature, any kind of art form. Now, for us, it's very important that students become engaged in some kind of extracurricular activity. In fact, we come from Venezuela, which is one of the leading countries in the world that has been recognized with the best youth orchestra system in the world, because it emphasizes the importance to have extracurricular education in the music field, and we have pretty much an after-school music program in every corner. So we are very passionate about that, and we grew up that way, and we feel it's very important. Whether you take it then as a profession or not, it still becomes something really important in your upbringing and your life as you become an individual.
Thanks for joining me. I'm Katie Nemrish with Seahawk Central News, Teal TV. Back to you in the studio.
Nothing brings people together like food. On Wednesday, October 24th, Feast Down East, also known as the Southeastern North Carolina Food System Program, hosted Food Day Wilmington. The event took place on UNCW's campus and entailed workshops for healthy eating, nutrition, hunger awareness, and buying local. Wagner Hall even provided a locally sourced lunch for the event. Feast Down East encouraged participants to take the Food Day Challenge that involves eating one meal consisting solely of local foods. The organization claims it is a win-win for everyone involved because it encourages healthy eating habits and supporting local economy.
4 Bollywood films, all part of Mantra 2012, will be showing this weekend in King Auditorium on the UNCW campus. The program brings movies from the Yash Raj Films Indian studio with English subtitles. This year, the 4 movies are Saturday, Hum Tum at 3 p.m. and Chak De India at 7 p.m. Sunday, Doom 2 at 3 p.m. and Dilwale Duhaniya Le Jayenge, meaning The Braveheart Takes the Bride, at 7 p.m. The movies are all free of charge.
This week in Critics on Campus, Chris Vickery and Rachel Gracie share their take on the 2 movies, Seven Psychopaths and Cloud Atlas. Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Trevor, and welcome to Critics on Campus. I'm your host, Chris Vickery, alongside Rachel Gracie. Rachel, as always, we have 2 movies that we've done this time around. The first of which was Seven Psychopaths from director Martin McDonagh, and it's starring Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, and Christopher Walken, all of which give pretty awesome performances. And this movie is about a screenwriter, Colin Farrell, who's writing a movie called Seven Psychopaths, and kind of following him as he meets all of the psychopaths that he will incorporate into the script that he's trying to write. A pretty interesting movie. What did you think of this one?
I thought it was pretty engaging throughout and enjoyable. There's, those mini stories, and you get to learn more and more about each, psychopath as you go along. So it was pretty awesome, and I really, really enjoyed Christopher Walken's character.
Yeah, Christopher Walken was fantastic and added a really solid emotional core to the movie. Sam Rockwell is just such a pleasurable presence on screen. Whenever he's on there, there's something funny or interesting going on. And he's so much like the dogs that he kidnaps in the movie. He just gets everyone into so much trouble, but in the end, you just love him all the more for it. Yes. You know, and Colin Farrell had some moments where his performance was stale, but overall, everyone really gelled in this cast. Woody Harrelson was also phenomenal here. And it's a movie that, you know, that could go really wrong for some people. But I think it has this undeniable charm that if you're willing to let it kind of seduce you and just take you into the movie experience, you'll have a great time. But out of 5 stars, what would you give this one?
I have to give it a 4 because, like you said, I did have a great time when I saw it. I really did. I would have to give it a 4 as well. I think there are a lot of people who would disagree with me, but I was seduced. It was a fun movie that I had a great time with. The second movie, Cloud Atlas, was a really ambitious piece from Tom Tykwer and the Wachowskis. And it's based on a novel, but it follows a lot of different stories, you know, throughout time and space, and very ambitious telling, all kind of revolving around this idea of freedom and life. But what would you say about this one? Towards the beginning, I was very confused, or pretty confused, because there's so many storylines going on, but as soon as those storylines start to connect and give you this idea where you realize it's about freedom and doing good in the world and everybody's connected, you are brought into this world and throughout generations and time and space. It's a whole other world. Yeah, and a pretty star-studded cast and some, I think, across the board, some Oscar-worthy performances, at least nominee level, because everyone just brought their A game. To multiple roles. To multiple roles. And it's a movie that, again, it will woo you, and it will, if you let it take you in, you will just be sucked along for the ride. And on top of that, some gorgeous visuals. It's a beautiful movie to look at, and a lot of fun to boot. And it really just had this emotional core to it that I think, again, if you let it, it will really just suck you in. Yes. But out of 5 stars, what would you give this one? I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5. I really was drawn into this world, and I enjoyed it. I have to agree. You know, again, people will probably disagree with me on this as well, but it got me. It sucked me in, and I enjoyed every minute of those 3 hours. So, yeah, fantastic movies all around. Once again, this is Critics on Campus, brought to you by Carmike Cinemas. I'm Chris Vickery, alongside Rachel Gracie. Back to you in the studio.
This Halloween, nothing has spooked the U.S. East Coast citizens more than the brewing Frankenstorm. Hurricane Sandy has threatened 13 states and counting, with her 90-mile-per-hour winds and Category 1 strength. It seems North Carolina missed the brunt of the storm, with only snow in the mountains, temperamental winds, and scarce rainfall. However, Northeast states withstood heavy snowfall, power outages, flooding, and winds so strong they brought down a crane atop a 74-story building. The death toll currently stands at 38, but that number is expected to rise. Over 8.2 million people lost power in the East. The superstorm has even affected people on a national and global level by canceling more than 15,000 flights around the world, and President Barack Obama even canceled 3 straight days of campaigning. The president spent Wednesday touring the damages in New Jersey with Governor Chris Christie. There are a number of ways to help hurricane victims, but the best way we can contribute in North Carolina is by partnering with the Red Cross. Please visit their website for more details.
The hurricane isn't the only thing stirring up climate debate as Election Day draws near. Voters have already begun filling out early voting forms. Jessica Ferrer has more with a special interview about voter engagement. Jessica?
Hi Seahawks, and thanks for joining me. Keeping you up to date on the latest political news, I'm your host, Jessica Ferrer. Hurricane Sandy may have canceled some campaign events, but that won't stop Election Day. We are only a few short days from finding out who our next president and local officials will be. If you've been feeling uninspired in this election, maybe Isaac Bear Early College student Noah Ponton can help you. Hi Noah, thanks for joining me. Noah has been working on a project on voter engagement and joins me to talk about how to let your voice be heard on Election Day, both locally and nationally. Noah, why don't you tell us about your project?
Well, currently I'm working on my graduation project, which is basically all around voter engagement. I'm looking at the history, the culture, and then also looking at some of the threats and then some of the ways we can improve our electoral system here in the United States.
Oh, that's really interesting. What did you find out about the electoral system, like the ways that we can improve it?
Well, I think some of the ways we can go about improving it are sometimes, external factors, increasing educational standards. One of the things I found was that, people who had higher educational levels were more likely to be engaged in politics and more enthused to go out and vote. Someone without a high school diploma compared to someone with a bachelor's degree was actually, the person with the bachelor's degree was 8 times more likely to go out and vote. So I found that increasing educational standards was one of the ways. And also being a part of different organizations that encourage voter engagement, like Rock the Vote, which is a popular national organization that encourages people to get out and to vote on Election Day.
That's really intriguing to me because I feel like in 2008 we saw college 18 and up students come out to vote, and they're saying this election that students aren't as inspired to vote as they were. So what do you think is the shift? Do you think we're going to see as many students as we did in 2008 voting in this election?
No, you probably will not. One of the reasons is because, in 2008, young voters supported the president overwhelmingly and also were a huge voting bloc for him. I definitely think that the president's campaign did a great job of encouraging them to get out the vote, connecting with them through social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter. I think, though, that this time around, due to the economy, maybe the lack of enthusiasm because of other issues, they're not going to show up as much. And that usually is because they probably were never likely to vote for maybe the Republican candidate. And so instead, they'll just be staying at home. Hopefully that won't be the case, no matter who they end up voting for, because I think it's important that, young voters, no matter what their political views are, that they go out and vote. But I think you are right. Yeah, the voter turnout for young people will definitely be down. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this project, was because I wanted to encourage people of all ages, to get out and to vote. So.
Why do you think that students might feel like their vote doesn't count?
Well, there's a number of reasons. One of them is because you feel so small in a country with millions, hundreds of millions of people. The other issue is that people who don't necessarily live in swing states, states such as California and Texas. California, always leans, Democratic, and the electoral votes usually go to whoever the Democratic candidate, and for Texas, it's the Republican candidate. So therefore, there seems to be kind of an issue with, does the electoral process or the electoral college really, represent the voice of the people? And same goes for some swing state voters. Some people feel that, in the midst of all the people who are voting, that their vote, does it really matter? But from what I researched, that's actually not the case. A lot of elections are decided by, very slim margins. The election of 2000 in Florida, it was decided by a couple thousands of votes. Could have been even less than that. And so it's very crucial, that everybody gets out to vote, no matter where you live in the United States.
What do you feel like? There might be a lapse in or an uninterest in voting for local officials, like paying attention more on a national level versus a local level?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one of the reasons is because with national candidates, such as people who are running for the presidency, people who are running for, the United States Senate, you're going to see their ads more often. You're going to hear them being talked about, on cable news, on national news organizations. So their names are going to be kind of more common that you're going to be hearing. Also, these campaigns on a national level, are funded by much more money than local officials, and so therefore, their advertising is going to go up compared to a local official. Local officials, whether you're running for, a North Carolina Senate seat or county commissioner, they obviously are not going to have that much money, and so their advertising is definitely going to be a little bit lower. But it's very important that you keep up to date with those officials, because oftentimes people don't realize is that these local officials really matter a lot, because oftentimes their decisions will directly impact you. County commissioners, state officials, they're very important, and they oftentimes directly affect the people they represent, more so than maybe people on a national scale, such as the president.
Noah, what kind of resources can you provide or offer the best advice you can give for college-age students, students 18 and up, our lovely viewers?
Yeah, I think the best website to use would be the North Carolina State Board of Elections website, and that'd be like northcarolinastatebordofelections.gov. And basically, it's a great resource because it provides you with a sample ballot of all the candidates who are running. Not only that, it gives you a great voter guide for information, when registering to vote. It also gives you polling locations about where you need to vote, for early voting, or where your precinct is on election day. And really, it's just a great website because it provides you with all the necessary materials to be an informed voter when you go out this election season.
Can you give any advice about fact-checking websites at all, or good sources like that?
Oh, you mean fact-checking as in, like, what would you say specifically?
Like websites where the people can go check on the debates, what candidates are saying?
Oh, yeah. I think the best website would be Democracy Now! North Carolina, because I think it gives great information, on updating on, the candidates, where they stand on the issues. It also gives you great information on voter engagement, and, how to vote and what the best ways are, where to vote. And it also gives you a lot of great stories, on keeping up with politics. So.
Well, it sounds like you learned a lot, Noah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
On behalf of Seahawk Central News, I'd like to thank Noah Ponton for coming and joining us. And remember that early voting is Saturday, November 3rd, and Election Day is November 6th. Political ads have been everywhere from your TV screen, YouTube, and even played in between songs while listening to Pandora. The political ads gain popularity, stir a little controversy, and then it's on to the next one. HBO Girls creator and star Lena Dunham spilled dirty details about her first time, President Obama used Big Bird, and Mitt Romney's ad in Ohio about the auto industry was a little bit too misleading for reporters to ignore. But a local ad from our own New Hanover County gained some of its own national attention. The ad features Democratic candidate for North Carolina Senate District 9, Deborah Butler, pointing out that her opponent, incumbent Tom Goolsbee, supported some legislation that requires women to get an ultrasound before getting an abortion. Goolsbee responded to the ad saying that what people care about is the economy and released his own ad calling her too risky and liberal. Don't worry, folks, political ad season will be over soon enough. Since the beginning of this segment, I've wanted to stress how important it is to vote and pay attention to what is going on in this election, locally and nationally. Your voice is more significant than what you may think when it comes to elections. American drama critic and editor George Jean Nathan said, "Bad officials are elected by good citizens who do not vote." Read up and make your way to the polls with your head held high. Thanks for watching, Seahawks. From DC to the Dub, I'm Jessica Ferrer.
Author Rachel Lloyd will speak at UNCW on November 15th. Lloyd is most noted for her memoir, Girls Like Us, Fighting for a World Where Girls Are Not for Sale, and activists find her calling and heals herself. The book chronicles the reality and cruelty of sex trafficking and how Lloyd was able to escape the system and in turn help other victims find a new life. Lloyd is the executive director and founder of Girls Educational Mentoring Services, a nonprofit program that helps young women ages 12 to 21 who have endured commercial sexual exploitation and domestic trafficking. The event is attributed to Dr. Todd William McCoon's gift to the UNCW Women's Studies and Resource Center. Though the event is free, a ticket will be required to listen to Lloyd's message at 7 p.m. in Keenan Auditorium.
All of our four-legged friends came together on October 20th for the 4th annual Salty Paws Dog Festival in Carolina Beach State Park. The festival raises money for neglected animals in our community. Logan Spaller was on the scene.
I'm here in Carolina Beach, where Salty Paws, a festival aimed at bringing awareness and raising money for neglected dogs, is taking place. This is their 4th anniversary, and it's been growing ever since the beginning.
We started Salty Paws 4 years ago, and all the money goes to all the various animal rescues. And it's a great way to bring the public out and show them how many adoptable animals we have and how many specific breed groups we have that they could go to adopt. And we want to encourage them to adopt and never shop.
But I can tell you the energy here is fantastic. There are thousands, I think, people here with their animals. Everyone seems to be having a wonderful time. It's beautiful weather. Just couldn't be better.
It's my daughter's dog. They lived out in Joplin, Missouri. They went through the tornado back in about a year and a half ago, May 21st. The tornado went through. And the dog was just ripped out of her arms and just tore the whole house apart. We were talking to her on the telephone when the tornado went through, and they were still looking for the dog. The dog has been sighted a couple times after the tornado, and there were so many rescue people that were there and helping out and trying to help other people out. They may have picked her up. She hasn't been found yet, and we're still looking for her.
And how can coming to events and supporting these type of events help this type of problem?
Well, everybody here is a dog lover, and there's so many people here that care for animals, care for pets, and they feel for it, and they get the word out. They pass it to somebody else, and someone else passes it to someone else. So.
Well, we found out about it yesterday. We realized it's for a good cause, helping animals that are rescued from disasters. I myself was rescued from a disaster of flood, and they actually took my dogs and my 2 birds, and it's for a good cause. We like to socialize our animals, get them out and about, and they love it as well. So we're just here to enjoy the vendors and the camaraderie and the music, and just get out with our animals a little bit.
All right, so what are the different events or booths set up here today? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, we have, of course, the band's going, you've got the food going, you've got microchipping going over here for $30, nail trimmings over here being done for donations, foot, face, and fannies down there for donations, and of course all your vendors. We have a 2-pack contest today, and then we will have all the raffles out there today. We have a lot of raffles.
After the festival this past weekend, it's quite clear that dogs and their owners care about this great cause. I hope you can make it out next year with your dog and have a great time. Until next time, I'm Logan Spaller, reporting for Seahawk Central News, TLTV.
Singer-songwriter Edwin McCain performed with Vanessa Carlton last Saturday in Trask Coliseum. The concert is put on by Chords for a Cause, an annual fundraiser that aims to provide some tangible assistance to the people of Wilmington. Previously, funds have been used to purchase a pediatric intensive care mobile unit for our community. And this year, funds will be raised to go to the New Hanover Regional Medical Center's SMILE program, as well as the Carolina Canines for Service program. Sunday morning after the concert, Edwin McCain visited the Women and Children's branch of the New Hanover Hospital and did a short performance for the crowd.
After the performance, I had the chance to sit down and talk to Edwin about his work. I'm Anna Phillips here with Edwin McCain.
I'm interviewing her.
He's interviewing me. We're here to talk about Chords for a Cause. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I've been playing, this is my second time with Chords for a Cause. Damian Brzezinski brought me down here 3 years ago to play with the Wilmington Symphony, and we raised enough money to buy a mobile NICU unit, big truck outside. It's awesome. And this year, again, with the Wilmington Symphony in Trask Auditorium, much larger venue this time. It was a lot of fun with Vanessa Carlton.
So then, can you tell us what you love about it?
I love playing music, especially when it's for a larger purpose. I mean, I feel like music is much bigger than just the industry. It's bigger than selling records and all of that stuff. I think it really is part of everyone. I undershot that. It saved my life. So I look at it like when I get an opportunity to do something positive with music, I never miss the opportunity. It's the good stuff. It's sort of the payback for how lucky I am to have had a good career in music. I'll never be able to pay it back. So I try hard.
Do you have anything that you'd want to tell students, people? Can they get involved? Or advice for musicians?
Well, I think one of the things I was just saying to the Voyagers, and I think it applies to anything that you want to do in life, is that I think there's just been this with all the sort of contest shows like American Idol, and everything's a contest, and you win or you lose, and what I think everyone's forgotten is the process. That really, if you find something that you love to do, the being successful is enjoying doing it, and there really are no finish lines, and it's this idea that you have to get somewhere before you can be happy or win, or I think it's an illusion.
I know your song I'll Be has been the song for years and years now for you that you're mostly known by. I've listened to it for probably my whole life. Can you tell me like the backstory on that song? Did it become huge overnight?
No,
to me, it seems
no.
like it did, but
No, actually, it was a long, slow process, and we worked really hard to get the song to happen. But once it did, I mean, how many years are we now? It was 97, and so here we are this many years later, and it's still going. And it's one of those things. You can't imagine how lucky it is. The incredible amount of seemingly insignificant coincidences that compile to be a successful record. I mean, and we worked really hard, but a lot of people work really hard, and you really just hit and hope, and it's an incredible ride. It's been amazing. But it's lucky. It's really lucky.
well, thank you. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all you're doing for our community.
Anytime.
Stay tuned for Seahawk Central News every day at 5 p.m.
Be sure to stop by tltv.org to catch each episode of Seahawk Central News. Until next time, I'm Anna Phillips.
And I'm Trevor Bray saying so long, Seahawks.